chasing this. What's going on, everybody? If you haven't already, hit that like, share, subscribe button for me. Join the VSOP Club. Turn on all post notifications. I hope everybody's having a good day today. Hope everybody's feeling good. Today's topic of discussion that I wanted to talk about is the value of Maserati for long term, and where I think it's going to go, what cars I think they're going to go up. So basically, so I'm not sure what auction it was. I'm not sure if it was Barrett Jackson or Meekum that it was a Gran Turismo that I believe went for 135K. It was a white Sport with a brown top, I believe, and brown interior. Pretty nice spec to me. I liked it, the color combination. I didn't expect it to go for the kind of money that it went for, but I think that is a sign. One, I'm not sure, these auctions, the value of these cars in some of these auctions, it just seems like just some of these auctions, the cars are just going for ridiculous money. They're overvalued. It does not seem like some of these cars should be selling for as much money, as they are. This car, there was a 560 SEC AMG 6.0. I think that went for like $500,000. Like, there's just a lot of these cars, it just seems like the value is being overinflated. But if that is the case, if this does stay like this, which I can't see this overinflation staying like this, but I do think the value of Gran Turismo eventually will go up, as you guys know. Like I said, this is the last Maserati that has 3 people involved in its build. So you have a Pininfarina design, you got a Ferrari engine, and you got a Maserati badge. I'm not sure when another car will ever be made again that's like this. There's the Quattroporte V. Quattroporte, and I'm the other ones too, but especially those two to me are just special cars. I'm not sure. Again, I don't see when another car like this is going to be produced by any brand. Where will it be a 3-way collaboration vehicle? I don't really see that happening. Now, for a car that's going to be in mass production, I don't see it. Maybe for something, special type of supercar, something like that. There's, limited number, all of that. But in terms of it being, a mass production vehicle, I don't see it. That's why I actually want to buy a Quattroporte V. The only reason I keep saying the Quattroporte V is because I like the design the best. I'm pretty sure that's the last one that was designed by Pininfarina. And then the Quattroporte that's out now, I'm not sure that's designed by Pininfarina. If you can tell me who that's designed by, if you have a new Quattroporte, old Quattroporte, put it in the comment section. But I do think the Quattroportes with the V, the 08, 09, I believe the facelift, 2012 facelift, 2010, 2011, something like that. But yeah, maybe 2012. But I do believe that those will go up. That's a pretty car, the first, that Quattroporte, that's a pretty car. And I think that, again, you're not going to have another sedan that's made like that. You're not going to have another sedan that sounds like that. Even the AMGs, as much as you guys know I'm a Benz guy, I love Benzes. AMGs don't sound like that. And you got to go get an AMG. Like, it's not like you could just buy a basic S-Class and it sound out the box like how a Quattroporte does. A base Quattroporte. So I think that eventually Quattroportes will go up. Not soon, guys. Not in the next 2-3 years. Okay, I can't say for sure on that, but what I can say for sure is by the time we get down to 2035 and we start, not even 2035, because everybody's starting to put out electric vehicles now. So it's definitely going to change over well before 2035. Everybody having electric vehicles. So I do suspect maybe the values to climb a little bit before that, because I don't believe everybody's just going to wait until 2035 electrify their whole lineup. That's definitely going to happen before that, because nobody wants to be last to the race, right? So as you start seeing more electric cars become the dominant product, you will start to see some of these cars, gas-powered cars, start to go up, especially as a lot of them, as you get these electric cars, okay, that become the more dominant product. What's going to happen to gas-powered cars, especially cars that weren't made in such large numbers, large production numbers? The market for those cars is going to become more universal. So, like, as you see with hypercars now, really, and it's starting to go into supercars, especially older supercars, like a Ferrari F40s and Lamborghini Diablos, and but a lot, the market for hypercars and older supercars, classic supercars, is global. It's not just a nationwide or a countrywide market. So as you do get to closer to that mark, where most of the products that are coming out of the car manufacturers are electric, wow, I'm sorry, I just saw some people getting in the water, and it's like 48 degrees out here, and I'm by the beach. Wow. You will start seeing cars become more electric. You will start seeing, so you will start seeing the market for gas-powered vehicles, especially, I think it'll trickle down, but it'll start with definitely, cars that were made in, made in more limited production, and you'll start seeing those cars go a lot more around the world, especially if people crash them, get rid of them, junk them, stuff like that. And you'll see that, you're starting to see that now with a lot of 80s cars, 70s and 80s cars, as there's just not that many available that are in condition where you don't have to, bring it back or, do a full restoration on it. You're starting to see a lot of that with 80s cars. A lot of 80s cars got shipped overseas. And now you're starting to see prices in the U.S., especially, on certain vehicles that are starting to take, like the more modified versions are starting to take height, like 560 SECs or some of the JDM cars. You're starting to see a lot of it, trickle down to the cars that need to be restored, and the prices are going up. And then you see in a lot of these you see in a lot of these countries that are overseas. You see in a lot of overseas countries that, a lot of the Toyotas, a lot of the, Nissans, a lot of the, like for instance, the Toyota, the old, that 4Runner pickup, I think it's a 4Runner pickup, but it's an old Toyota pickup, and, I've seen a ton of these. Back in, my childhood, I used to see a ton of them, and they were nothing, and now, a good one, I've seen them run $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. A lot of cars that used to be popular, a lot of cars that were, a lot of them kind of cars that got shipped overseas, or a lot of those kind of cars that got crushed, or certain problems happened, or, in terms of recalls, it makes the cars more valuable, as time goes on. And, a lot of vehicles, I think that's going to happen with, cars like, especially like the Gran Turismo, cars that were just slept on, cars that people really didn't pay attention to. And that's every time, like every cycle this goes on. But I think it's just going to change once 2035 really hits, but I believe that, Gran Turismos will go up, Aston Martins will go up. I think they'll all skyrocket, to be honest with you, because there's just not going to be that many available for when, the hammer comes down for the gas-powered vehicles. Gas isn't going to go anywhere. We're too dependent on gas to just switch completely over to electric, so it's still going to be here. It's just going to be electric is the more dominant, but you're going to have, people that still love these cars, like my generations younger than me. You still have kids now that love gas-powered cars, so, it's gonna take a while to kind of wash that out. So as that washes out, you're gonna see the prices of all these, you know, what I call cheap supercars now are gonna skyrocket. You know, so for instance, Aston Martin Vantage, Aston Martin DD9. These are cars that don't have, you know, large production numbers, but they're not appreciated right now because they have there's so many things that are coming out now. You know, so many limited number cars, and I got a whole, you know, theory on the limited number cars. But, you know, there's so many limited number cars now that you, as soon as you like something, you get distracted by something else, you know, and you do. Like, look at all the Hellcats. They put out a Red Eye, a Demon, and then they just put out a Jailbreak and something else, you know, and it's like, not including the EV charger, you know, so, I mean, challenging. So, you know, it's, they're coming out with so many different vehicles now, which ultimately I think it's a hustle, and here's why I think it's a hustle. I really think that they're, you know, they would make the same allotted cars. So you took all of the challenges that they made, all of the different models, right? I really think, man, that, you know, all they're doing with them challenges is putting in bigger engines, you know, and little and cheap fender flares, and you know, and I guess you could say that's a different car if I slap a different paint job on it and put a different, you know, put a number badge, you know, but it just seems like a hustle to me, and it does. They're taking the same kind of cars, the same body, putting a different engine in it. You know, not even putting a different engine, putting a different tune on some of them, putting superchargers or whatever have you on the same engine, on the same body as, you know, the Hellcat is, say for argument's sake, is 80 grand, right? Say Hellcat is 80 grand. You got a Scat Pack that's 50 grand. Like, I don't understand that, you know, and you're gonna tell me it's two completely different cars. They look exactly the same, okay, but the only difference is the horsepower. That's not a hustle. They're not hustling you with horsepower. Like, I feel like that's a hustle. I feel like that's kind of, you know, getting beat for your money a little bit, because you're telling these people that these cars are limited, and then you're putting out another one. You're putting out another one, and they don't look any different. They look like the same car, you know, with different paint jobs, horsepower, numbers, and little, you know, number plaques on the car. You know, but the finishings in the car, it's not like any of that changes. It's the same interior. They might put a little bit of leather on the seats, you know, but it's the same seat underneath. Like, let's be serious. Same seat, same rug, same dashboard, same navigation system setup. You know, the whole, you know, multimedia setup, it's the same thing. You know, how hard is it to change you know, the gauges on you know, a speedometer gauge? How hard is that to make that look different? And digitally, I mean, that's got to be even easier. So, you know, a lot of these cars that you're starting to see come out with numbers, you know, these limited number cars are just hustles to me. Like the Aventador, they put out so many different versions of the Aventador, so many different versions of the Gallardo, and it really seems like it's a hustle for them to try to gather up money because they really don't know how electric is going to be for them. You know, and they don't. Like, what's the point of an electric car? I mean, what's the point of a Lamborghini if an electric car can already go fast? The only reason you would buy the Lamborghini is for the shape and for the sound. That's essentially it. Because if you got a Tesla Model X or the Tesla, you know, the P100D, and you telling me that that's faster than a Lamborghini, or faster neck and neck with a Lamborghini, the only thing we're paying for with the Lamborghini is the shape, the sound, and the name. You know, but yeah. So yeah, I went off another tangent, and I forgot what we were talking about. Values of cars, Maseratis, and all of that. But yeah, guys, all these cars eventually. That's why I say now, if you're into cars and you want to start a car collection, I say start now, and you know, because the prices of stuff are going up, and these cars aren't really going to get any cheaper than what they are now. You know, if you want a Gran Turismo, I would suggest within the next year, 2 years, that you go out and you really try to focus on, you know, achieving that goal if you really want one. Because as we get closer down to the, you know, to the hammer, you know, it's they're only going to get more expensive, and they will. You know, if you want an Aston Martin, you want any of these cheap, you know, so-called, you want any of these cheap supercars, cheap, I would say try to focus on them now. Even the cars that, you know, that you want, that you think nobody else wants, you think it's going to be cheap, you should start focusing on it now, because a lot of these cars that you think nobody else wants, the production numbers are small. A lot of cars that I've been looking at like in the last week that I want. I didn't know the production numbers were so small in the cars. And these were cars that I wanted since I was a child. They're not even expensive, you know. So, you know, some of these cars are like 10,000, 12,000, you know, 8,000, like, and the production numbers are so small. I know one day they're gonna hit, and the value is gonna be out of here, you know. So that's why I say, if you guys want a Gran Turismo, you guys want an Aston, you know, you guys want something that's considered not a, you know, an expensive supercar right now, or, you know, something like that, or an older Porsche, or, yeah, you should try to grab it as soon as you can, because the closer that we get to that 2035 mark, the more expensive everything is going to be, because the market will become more globalized, because there'll be less cars produced, you know. So the value of the used car, quote unquote, is gonna, you know, the used gas powered car, you know, it's probably gonna go through the roof, guys. You know, but if you haven't already, hit that like, share, subscribe button for me. Join the VSOP Club. I'm gonna catch you guys in the next video. I'm out.